As Ayo and Titi sat in Ayo's small living room, Titi began her usual bragging. Ha, Ayo, you won't believe what my husband bought for me yesterday. Titi said, her eyes sparkling. Ayo was a beautiful young woman who lived in a modest home in Lagos with her husband, Toye, and their two children, Kemi and Kunle. Toye was a handsome and hard-working man who loved his family deeply. He worked tirelessly to provide for them, often take on extra jobs to ensure they had what they needed. Despite Toye's efforts, Ayo was never satisfied. She always felt like they didn't have enough. Her dissatisfaction grew each time her friend Titi came over. Titi was always boasting about how her husband showered her with money and expensive gifts. One afternoon, as Ayo and Titi sat in Ayo's small living room, Titi began her usual bragging. Ha, Ayo, you won't believe what my husband bought for me yesterday. Titi said, her eyes sparkling. A brand new designer handbag. And we had fried rice and chicken for lunch. You need to tell Toye to step up his game. Ayo's heart sank. She had just finished drinking gari, a simple meal, because there was nothing else at home. Hearing Titi's words made her feel even worse. Really, Titi? Fried rice and chicken? Ayo asked, trying to hide her envy. Yes, so you deserve better. Ayo, you are too beautiful to be suffering like this. Titi replied, her tone dripping with condescension. As days turned into weeks, Titi's words echoed in Ayo's mind. She began to resent Toye, despite his best efforts. Every time Toye came home tired from work, Ayo would pick a fight with him. Toye, you are not man enough. Ayo shouted one evening after Toye handed her his meager earnings. Look at Titi's husband. He gives her money to take care of herself, but you can't even provide us with a decent meal. Toye was hurt by Ayo's words. He loved his wife and children and was doing everything he could to provide for them. Ayo, I am trying my best, Toye said softly. Things will get better, I promise. But Ayo didn't want to hear it. Her mind was already made up. She started to entertain the advances of a rich man named Chike, who had been pursuing her for some time. Chike promised her a life of luxury, something she had always dreamed of. One evening, after another argument with Toye, Ayo made a drastic decision. She packed a few of her belongings, kissed her sleeping children goodbye, and left a note for Toye. She was living with Chike, convinced that he would give her the life she deserved. When Toye found out the note the next morning, his heart broke. He couldn't believe Ayo had abandoned him and their children, but he knew he had to stay strong for Kemi and Kunle. Life with Chike was not what Ayo had imagined. At first, it seems like a dream come true. Chike took her to a fancy restaurant and bought her expensive clothes. But soon, his true nature was revealed. He was controlling and abusive, and he didn't care about Ayo's happiness. Ayo began to regret her decision. She missed Toye and her children terribly. She realized that Titi's boast has been nothing but lies. Titi's husband wasn't rich, and she often exaggerated her lifestyle to make herself feel better. Meanwhile, Toye's hard work began to pay off. He received a promotion at work and started a successful business on the side. He could finally provide for Kemi and Kunle the way he had always wanted. Ayo's regrets grew each day. She heard through a mutual friend that Toye had become rich and successful. She wanted to go back to him, but she was too ashamed to face him after what she had done. One rainy evening, as Ayo sat alone in Chike's luxurious but empty house. She made a decision. She would leave Chike and try to rebuild her life, even if it meant starting from scratch. But when she finally gathered the courage to leave, Chike found out. He became furious and threw her out without a second thought. Ayo was left with nothing but the clothes on her back. Ayo wandered the streets of Lagos, hungry and desperate. She knew she had made a terrible mistake, but she didn't know how to make things right. She decided to go back to her old neighborhood, hoping to catch a glimpse of her children. When she arrived, she saw Toye and the children playing outside their beautiful new home. Tears filled her eyes as she watched them. She knew she couldn't just walk back into their lives, but she hoped Toye would give her a chance to explain. Ayo approached Toye. He looked up and saw her, his expression unreadable. "Toye, please, I am so sorry," Ayo said, her voice choked with emotion. "I made a terrible mistake. Can you ever forgive me?" Toye looked at Ayo for a long moment. He saw the pain and regret in her eyes, but he also remembered the hurt she had caused. "Ayo, I don't know if I can ever forget what you did," Toye said quietly. "But for the sake of our children, I am willing to talk." Ayo nodded, tears streaming down her face. She knew it would take time to rebuild Toye's trust, but she was willing to do whatever it took. Ayo found a small job and a modest place to stay. She started working hard to prove to Toye and her children that she had changed. Every day, she visited Kemi and Kunle, slowly rebuilding her relationship with them. Toye watched Ayo's efforts with caution. He could see she was trying, but he needed time to heal. He didn't want to rush into anything and risk getting hurt again. As months passed, Ayo and Toye began to talk more. They shared their feelings and experiences, and slowly the old wound began to heal. Ayo realized how much she had taken Toye for granted and vowed never to make the same mistake again. Though Toye and Ayo were on the path of reconciliation, there was still a long way to go. They decided to take things slowly, focusing on their children and rebuilding their trust in each other. Ayo continued to work hard, not just for her own redemption, but to show Kemi and Kunle the value of perseverance and honesty. She knew that the journey ahead would be challenging, but she was ready to face it. As Ayo walked home one evening, she felt a sense of hope. She had learned the hard way that listening to the wrong advice could lead to disaster. But she also learned that with hard work and determination, it was possible to make things right. Months had passed since Ayo returned to the neighborhood. Her consistent effort to rebuild her life and mend her relationship with Toye and the children was gradually paying off. The children, Kemi and Kunle, were beginning to warm up to her again. And Toye, though still cautious, started to see the genuine change in Ayo. One day, as Toye was watching Ayo playing with Kemi and Kunle in the yard, he felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps there was a chance for the family to be whole again. He decided it was time for a heart-to-heart conversation with Ayo. That evening, after putting the children to bed, Toye and Ayo sat down in the living room. The silence between them was heavy with unspoken words and emotion. From that day on, Toye and Ayo started working together to rebuild their trust. They attended counseling sessions and spent more time as a family. Toye taught Ayo about the business he had started, and Ayo, eager to contribute, began helping out. Working side by side, they rediscovered the bond that had once brought them together. Toye saw Ayo's determination and sincerity, and Ayo realized the depth of Toye's love and commitment to their family. One evening, after a long day at work, Toye and Ayo sat on the porch watching the children play. The setting sun cast a warm glow, and for the first time in a long while, they both felt a sense of peace. "Ayo," Toye said, breaking the silence, "I am proud of how far we've come. I know we still have a long way to go, but I am willing to take that journey with you." Ayo smiled, tears of gratitude in her eyes. "Thank you, Toye. I promise I won't let you down again." Meanwhile, Titi's life was unraveling. Her husband discovered her constant boasting and lies, leading to frequent arguments. The truth was that their life wasn't as glamorous as she made it out to be. The reality of their financial struggle was beginning to catch up with them. One day, Titi visited Ayo, hoping to find solace in their friendship. But Ayo, having learned from her past mistake, was cautious. "Ayo, things have been really tough at home," Titi confessed. "Her usual bravado gone. I don't know what to do." Ayo listened quietly. She felt a pang of sympathy, but also a sense of vindication. She had fallen for Titi's lies before, and it had nearly destroyed her life. As Ayo and Toye continued to rebuild their relationship, they also focused on creating a better future for their children. Toye's business flourished, and they were able to provide for Kemi and Kunle with a comfortable life. One sunny afternoon, Toye gathered the family for a surprise. He had bought a plot of land and planned to build a new home for them. "We are starting a new chapter," Toye said, holding Ayo's hand. "A home where we can create new memories and leave the past behind." Ayo's eyes filled with tears of joy. She felt blessed to have a second chance to make things right. She had learned the hard way that listening to the wrong advice could lead to disaster. But she also discovered that love, hard work, and determination could pave the way to redemption. As they stood together looking at the land that would soon become their new home, Ayo knew that they had a bright future ahead. She was ready to face whatever challenges came their way. The children were excited, often helping with small tasks and watching the construction progress. One evening, as they sat around the dinner table discussing the new house, Toye shared this vision. "I want this room to be a place of love, trust, and happiness. A place where our children can grow up, feeling secure and loved." Ayo nodded in agreement. "And I want it to be a place where we can make new memories, learn from our mistakes, and support each other through thick and thin." The family worked hard, and slowly but surely, their dream home began to take shape. As the walls went up, the room was defined. Ayo felt a deep sense of fulfillment and hope. With the foundation of their new home being laid, Toye and Ayo also focused on rekindling their love. They made time for each other amidst their busy schedules, going on dates and spending quiet evenings together. They rediscovered the joy of each other's company and the deep bond they shared. One weekend, they decided to take a short trip to a nearby beach with the children. The sound of the waves, the feel of the sand beneath their feet, and the laughter of Kemi and Kunle created a perfect backdrop of their renewed connection. As they watched the sunset together, Toye wrapped his arm around Ayo. "I am grateful for this second chance, Ayo. We've come a long way." Ayo rested his head on Toye's shoulder. "Yes, we have. And I am determined to make the most of it. I love you, Toye." "I love you too, Ayo," Toye replied, kissing her forehead. Despite their progress, the past still lingered. Ayo knew she had to confront Titi one more time to fully move forward. She wanted to close that chapter of her life with honesty and integrity. Ayo arranged to meet Titi at a quiet cafe. "Titi, I have been thinking a lot about our friendship and how it influenced my decisions. I need to be honest with you." Titi looked nervous but nodded for Ayo to continue. "I let your words and actions affect my life in a way that almost destroyed my family," Ayo said. "I don't blame you entirely. I blame my own choices. But I need to distance myself from our past if I am going to continue building a better future." Titi's eyes filled with tears. "I am sorry, Ayo. I never meant to hurt you. I was trying to make myself feel better. By boasting, we all make mistakes, Titi. It's not too late to change. I hope you can find happiness and honesty in your own life." They parted ways with a mutual understanding, ready to move forward in their separate paths. As the construction of their new home neared completion, Toye's business faced an unexpected setback. A major client pulled out of a deal, causing financial strain. Toye was stressed and worried about how they would manage. Seeing Toye's distress, Ayo stepped up. "We'll get through this together," she said, reassuring him. "Let's look for new opportunities and find ways to cut costs until things improve." Together, they brainstormed ideas and reached out to new potential clients. Ayo's support and encouragement were invaluable, and slowly, Toye's business began to recover. Their resilience during these challenging times strengthened their bond even further. They realized that as long as they had each other, they could overcome any obstacle. The day finally came. When the house was ready, moving day was filled with excitement and a sense of accomplishment. As they unpacked and settled in, Toye and Ayo couldn't help but feel proud of how far they had come. That evening, they held a small housewarming party with close friends and family. As they stood together in their new living room, Toye raised a toast to new beginnings and to the love and trust that brought us here. Everyone shared. She looked around at the smiling faces, knowing that they were truly home. With their new home as their foundation, Toye and Ayo continued to build a bright future for their family. They focused on providing a loving and nurturing environment for Kemi and Kule, teaching them the values of hard work, honesty, and resilience. Ayo also decided to share her story with others, hoping to help those who might be going through similar struggles. She started a blog, writing about her experiences and the lessons she had learned. Her words resonated with many, and she found a new sense of purpose in helping others. As time passed, Ayo and Toye's love grew stronger, and their family flourished. They knew that life would always have its challenges, but they were ready to face them together, armed with the knowledge that love and trust could conquer anything.